The weight of life isn't optional. It's going to come. The storms will blow. The challenges will arise. The disappointments will knock on your door, whether you invite them or not. But here's what I've learned after all these years. It's not what happens to you that determines your happiness. It's what you do about what happens to you. It's the philosophy you develop, the attitude you choose, and the disciplines you practice that will determine whether you rise above the circumstances or get buried beneath them. Now, when I say force yourself to be happy, I'm not talking about putting on a fake smile and pretending everything is wonderful when it's not. That's not happiness, that's delusion. What I'm talking about is making a conscious, deliberate decision to find reasons to be happy even in the midst of difficulty. It's about training your mind to look for the good, to search for the lessons, to find the opportunities that are always present, even in our darkest hours. You see, happiness isn't something that just happens to you. It's not a destination you arrive at when everything in your life is perfect. If that were the case, most people would never be happy because life is never perfect. Life is a series of challenges interrupted by brief moments of peace. But those who have learned the art of forcing themselves to be happy have discovered something remarkable. They can create their own weather, regardless of the storms raging around them. Let me tell you about a fundamental law of life that most people never learn. It's this: for every adversity, there is an equal or greater opportunity. But here's the catch: you have to look for it. You have to train your mind to see it. You have to develop the discipline to find it. Most people, when life gets heavy, they focus all their attention on the weight. They think about the problem, they talk about the problem, they worry about the problem, and they wonder why the problem seems to get bigger and bigger in their lives. But successful people, happy people, people who have learned to force themselves to be happy, they do something different. They acknowledge the weight, they don't deny it or pretend it doesn't exist, but they don't camp there. They don't set up permanent residence in the land of problems. Instead, they ask themselves different questions. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? They ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of asking, how can I get out of this? They ask, how can I grow through this? The difference between these two approaches is the difference between being a victim and being a victor. Victims focus on what's wrong, what's missing, what's not working. Victors focus on what's possible, what's available, what's working. And here's the beautiful thing about the human mind: whatever you focus on expands. If you focus on your problems get bigger. If you focus on your possibilities get bigger. Now, I want to share with you a principle that has served me well throughout my life, and it's this: work harder on yourself than you do on your job. You see, most people work hard on their jobs and wonder why their lives don't change. They put in 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year, working on their job, and they wonder why they're not getting ahead. But here's what they don't understand: if you work hard on your job, you can make a living. But if you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune. The same principle applies to happiness. Most people work hard trying to change their circumstances, and they wonder why they're not happy. They think, if I could just get that promotion, if I could just find the right relationship, if I could just have more money, then I'd be happy. But happiness doesn't work that way. Happiness is an inside job. You have to work harder on developing your internal state than you do on changing your external circumstances. How do you work on yourself? How do you develop the discipline to force yourself to be happy even when life feels heavy? It starts with understanding that happiness is a choice, not a chance. It's not something that happens to you, it's something you create. And like any skill, it requires practice, patience, and persistence. The first discipline is the discipline of gratitude. Every morning when you wake up, before you even get out of bed, find 3 things you can be grateful for. They don't have to be big things. They can be simple things: the fact that you woke up, the roof over your head, the air you breathe. The practice of gratitude is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. And the stronger your gratitude muscle becomes, the easier it is to find reasons to be happy even when life is challenging. But gratitude is just the beginning. The second discipline is the discipline of positive self-talk. Most people are their own worst enemy. They talk to themselves in ways they would never talk to their best friend. They criticize themselves, they doubt themselves, they beat themselves up for their mistakes. But successful people, happy people, they've learned to become their own best friend. They encourage themselves, they motivate themselves, they forgive themselves when they make mistakes. Your self-talk is like a radio station that's playing in your head 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The question is, are you tuned into the positive station or the negative station? Are you listening to messages of encouragement and possibility, or are you listening to messages of doubt and limitation? You have the power to change the station anytime you want. You can choose what you listen to in your own mind. Here's something else I've learned about forcing yourself to be happy. It requires you to become a student of life. Every experience, every challenge, every setback is a lesson in disguise. But most people are so busy complaining about their lessons that they never learn from them. They repeat the same mistakes, face the same challenges, and wonder why their lives never change. But wise people, happy people, they approach life differently. They see every experience as an opportunity to learn and grow. They ask themselves, what is this situation trying to teach me? How can I use this experience to become a better person? What skills do I need to develop to handle this challenge more effectively? When you approach life as a student, everything becomes interesting. Every experience becomes valuable. Every challenge becomes an opportunity for growth. The third discipline is the discipline of association. Jim Rohn used to say, you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you want to be happy, you need to associate with happy people. If you want to be successful, you need to associate with successful people. If you want to be positive, you need to associate with positive people. This doesn't mean you abandon your friends and family who might be struggling. It means you become more selective about who you allow to influence your thinking. You limit your exposure to negative people and negative influences. You seek out people who inspire you, who challenge you to grow, who believe in your potential even when you don't believe in it yourself. But here's the challenge. Positive people don't just fall into your lap. You have to seek them out. You have to go where they are. You have to read what they read, listen to what they listen to, attend the seminars they attend. You have to make an investment in surrounding yourself with the right influences. The fourth discipline is the discipline of learning. Happy people are learners. They understand that if they're not growing, they're dying. They're constantly reading books, listening to educational programs, attending seminars, learning new skills. They understand that their income will never exceed their personal development, and their happiness will never exceed their personal growth. Learning gives you options. Learning gives you confidence. Learning gives you the tools you need to handle whatever life throws at you. When you're constantly learning and growing, you develop an unshakable belief in your ability to handle any challenge. You know that no matter what happens, you have the resources to deal with it. But most people stop learning when they graduate from school. They think their education is complete. They think they know everything they need to know. And then they wonder why their lives become stagnant, why they feel stuck, why they lose their enthusiasm for life. The truth is, formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. And self-education will also make you happy. Now let me share with you another principle that's crucial to forcing yourself to be happy, the principle of contribution. Human beings are happiest when they're contributing to something greater than themselves. When you're focused only on your own problems, your own needs, your own desires, you become miserable. But when you shift your focus to how you can serve others, how you can make a difference, how you can contribute to the world around you, something magical happens. Your problems begin to shrink, your perspective expands, and your happiness increases. This is one of the great paradoxes of life. The more you give, the more you receive. The more you help others, the more you help yourself. The more you focus on making others happy, the happier you become. It's a law as reliable as the law of gravity, but most people never discover it because they're too focused on getting rather than giving. Contribution doesn't have to be grand or dramatic. It can be as simple as helping a neighbor, volunteering at a local charity, mentoring someone who's struggling, or just being kind to the people you encounter throughout your day. The key is to make contribution a regular part of your life, not something you do occasionally when you feel like it. The fifth discipline is the discipline of physical health. Your body and your mind are connected in ways that science is only beginning to understand. When your body feels good, your mind feels good. When your body is strong, your mind is strong. When your body is healthy, your mind is happy. Most people neglect their physical health and then wonder why they feel depressed, anxious, or unhappy. They eat junk food, they don't exercise, they don't get enough sleep, and they don't understand why they feel terrible. But your body is the vehicle that carries you through life. If you want to be happy, you need to take care of your vehicle. This doesn't mean you have to become a fitness fanatic or eat a perfect diet. It means you make reasonable choices about what you put into your body and how you move your body. It means you get enough sleep, you drink enough water, you eat nutritious foods most of the time, and you get some form of exercise regularly. These simple disciplines will have a profound impact on your mood, your energy, and your overall happiness. The sixth discipline is the discipline of goal setting. Happy people have something to look forward to. They have dreams, they have plans, they have goals that excite them and pull them forward. Unhappy people have nothing to look forward to. They live day to day without any sense of purpose or direction. Goals give your life meaning and direction. They give you something to work toward, something to strive for, something to achieve. But here's the key: your goals must be your goals, not someone else's goals for you. They must be based on your values, your interests, your passions. They must be goals that inspire you and motivate you, not goals that you think you should have because that's what others expect of you. When you have compelling goals, it's easier to force yourself to be happy because you have something to be excited about. You have a reason to get up in the morning. You have a purpose that's bigger than your problems. Your goals become a magnet that pulls you forward even when life feels heavy. But goal setting is not just about the destination, it's about who you become in the process of pursuing your goals. Every goal you set requires you to grow, to develop new skills, to overcome obstacles, to push through challenges. The person you become in pursuit of your goals is often more valuable than the goals themselves. The seventh discipline is the discipline of celebration. Happy people celebrate their victories no matter how small. They acknowledge their progress, they appreciate their growth, they recognize their achievements. Unhappy people focus on what's still wrong, what's still missing, what they still haven't accomplished. Celebration is not about being prideful or arrogant. It's about acknowledging the good things in your life, recognizing your progress, and appreciating how far you've come. It's about finding reasons to be happy right now, not waiting until everything is perfect. Most people are so focused on the next goal, the next achievement, the next milestone that they never stop to appreciate what they've already accomplished. They're always looking ahead, never looking around, but happiness is found in the present moment, in the appreciation of what is, not in the anticipation of what might be. Now, I want to address something that might be bothering some of you. You might be thinking, Jim, this all sounds good in theory, but you don't understand my situation. My problems are real. My pain is real. My struggles are real, and you're absolutely right. Your problems are real, but here's what I want you to understand. Your problems are not permanent unless you make them permanent. Every problem has a lifespan. Every challenge has an expiration date. Every setback has the potential to become a comeback. But you have to believe it's possible. You have to work toward the solution. You have to maintain hope even when things look hopeless. I'm not suggesting you ignore your problems or pretend they don't exist. I'm suggesting you don't let your problems become your identity. I'm suggesting you don't let your current circumstances determine your future possibilities. I'm suggesting you maintain the belief that things can get better and then work to make them better. The discipline of forcing yourself to be happy is not about denying reality. It's about choosing your response to reality. It's about deciding that you're going to find a way to be happy despite your circumstances, not because of them. It's about understanding that your happiness is too important to leave to chance, too valuable to depend on external conditions, too precious to let others control. Here's another principle that's essential to understand. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control what happens in you. External circumstances are largely beyond your control. The economy, other people's actions, natural disasters, accidents, illnesses, these things happen whether you want them to or not. But your internal response to these external events is completely under your control. You can choose to respond with anger or with understanding. You can choose to respond with fear or with faith. You can choose to respond with bitterness or with gratitude. You can choose to respond with despair or with hope. These choices, these responses, these internal decisions are what determine your happiness, not the external circumstances themselves. The most successful people in the world, the happiest people in the world, have learned this fundamental truth. They focus their energy on what they can control, and they don't waste energy on what they can't control. They control their thoughts, their emotions, their actions, their responses, their attitudes, their efforts, their decisions. Everything else is secondary. When you fully embrace this principle, it's incredibly liberating. You stop being a victim of circumstances and start being the creator of your experience. You stop waiting for things to get better and start making things better. You stop hoping for happiness and start creating happiness. The eighth discipline is the discipline of patience. Forcing yourself to be happy is not a one-time decision. It's a daily practice. It's not something you do once and then you're done. It's something you do every day for the rest of your life. And like any skill, it takes time to develop. You don't become a master pianist overnight, and you don't become a master of happiness overnight. There will be days when it's easier than others. There will be days when you feel like you're making progress, and there will be days when you feel like you're going backward. There will be times when the disciplines feel natural, and there will be times when they feel forced. This is all part of the process. This is all part of the journey. The key is to be patient with yourself. Don't expect perfection. Don't expect immediate results. Don't expect every day to be better than the day before. Expect ups and downs. Expect setbacks. Expect challenges, but also expect growth. Expect progress. Expect improvement over time. Remember, you're not trying to become happy for a day or a week or a month. You're trying to build a life of happiness. You're trying to develop a character that can find joy in any circumstance. You're trying to create a mindset that can discover opportunity in every challenge. This is a lifelong journey, not a short-term project. The 9th discipline is the discipline of faith. I'm not necessarily talking about religious faith, although that can certainly be part of it. I'm talking about faith in yourself, faith in your ability to overcome challenges, faith in your capacity to grow and learn and improve, faith that things can get better, faith that your best days are ahead of you, not behind you. Faith is what sustains you when you can't see the solution to your problems. Faith is what keeps you going when the path ahead is unclear. Faith is what gives you the strength to take the next step when you don't know where the path is leading. Faith is what allows you to maintain hope when circumstances suggest hopelessness. Without faith, it's impossible to force yourself to be happy when life feels heavy. Without faith, you'll give up at the first sign of difficulty. Without faith, you'll let your circumstances determine your emotional state. But with faith, you can maintain your happiness regardless of what's happening around you. Faith is not about being naive or unrealistic. It's about believing in possibilities that others can't see. It's about trusting in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. It's about knowing that every setback is a setup for a comeback. Every ending is a new beginning. Every failure is a lesson in disguise. The 10th discipline is the discipline of service. When life feels heavy, one of the best ways to lift your spirits is to lift someone else's spirits. When you're focused on your own problems, they seem enormous. But when you shift your focus to helping others with their problems, your problems begin to shrink in comparison. Service takes you outside of yourself. It connects you to something larger than your own concerns. It reminds you that you're part of a community, part of humanity, part of something bigger than just your individual existence. Service gives your life meaning and purpose beyond your personal goals and ambitions. The beautiful thing about service is that it doesn't require you to have your life completely together before you can help others. You don't have to be perfect to be helpful. You don't have to have all the answers to provide some answers. You don't have to be completely happy to help someone else find happiness. In fact, sometimes the best service you can provide is to share your struggles, your challenges, your journey toward happiness. Others who are facing similar difficulties can be encouraged by your example, inspired by your perseverance, motivated by your determination to keep going despite the obstacles. Service is not about grand gestures or dramatic acts of kindness. It's about the small, consistent ways you can make a difference in the lives of others. It's about listening when someone needs to talk, offering encouragement when someone is discouraged, providing help when someone is struggling, showing kindness when someone is hurting. Now, let me share with you a principle that ties all of these disciplines together, the principle of compound interest. You might be familiar with compound interest as it relates to money, how small, consistent investments can grow into large sums over time. The same principle applies to happiness. Small, consistent actions compound over time. A daily practice of gratitude might not seem like much on any given day, but over weeks, months, and years it transforms your perspective and your experience of life. A daily commitment to positive self-talk might feel insignificant in the moment, but over time it rewrites the program that's running in your mind. Each discipline I've shared with you might seem small and insignificant by itself. But when you practice them consistently, when you compound them over time, they create a powerful force for happiness in your life. They build momentum, they create habits, they develop character, they transform your internal landscape. This is why forcing yourself to be happy is not just about getting through tough times. It's about building a life that can weather any storm. It's about developing the internal resources that will serve you well regardless of what external circumstances you face. The compound effect of these disciplines creates what I call emotional resilience. Emotional resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks, to recover from disappointments, to maintain your equilibrium even when life feels chaotic. It's not about avoiding difficulties. It's about developing the capacity to handle difficulties without losing your happiness. Emotionally resilient people don't experience fewer problems than others. They just handle their problems differently. They don't let their problems define them, discourage them, or defeat them. They use their problems as opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, and more capable. Here's something else I want you to understand about forcing yourself to be happy. It's not selfish. Some people think that focusing on their own happiness is self-centered or narcissistic. But the opposite is true. When you're happy, you're a better parent, a better spouse, a better friend, a better employee, a better citizen. You have more to give because you're not depleted by negativity, worry, and despair. Happy people are more generous, more compassionate, more patient, more understanding. They're more likely to help others, more likely to volunteer, more likely to make a positive difference in their communities. They're more productive at work, more pleasant to be around, more inspiring to others and by others. When you force yourself to be happy, you're not just improving your own life, you're improving the lives of everyone around you. You become a source of positive energy in a world that desperately needs positive energy. You become a beacon of hope for others who are struggling. You become proof that it's possible to maintain happiness even when life feels heavy. This is one of the most beautiful aspects of forcing yourself to be happy. It's contagious. When others see you maintaining your joy despite your challenges, they begin to believe that they can do the same. When they see you finding reasons to be grateful in difficult circumstances, they begin to look for their own reasons to be grateful. When they see you choosing hope over despair, they begin to choose hope as well. You have more influence than you realize. Your attitude, your approach to life, your response to challenges, all of these things affect the people around you in ways you may never know. By forcing yourself to be happy, you're not just changing your own life, you're potentially changing the lives of countless others. But here's the key: you can't give what you don't have. You can't inspire others to be happy if you're miserable. You can't encourage others to be hopeful if you're hopeless. You can't help others find joy if you've lost your own joy. This is why working on your own happiness is not selfish, it's essential. As we near the end of our time together, I want to leave you with this thought: the decision to force yourself to be happy even when life feels heavy is one of the most important decisions you'll ever make. It's a decision that will affect every other area of your life. It's a decision that will determine not just how you feel, but how you act, how you act, how you respond to the inevitable challenges of life. This decision is not a one-time event, it's a daily choice. Every morning when you wake up, you have the opportunity to choose happiness. Every time you face a challenge, you have the opportunity to choose happiness. Every time you encounter a setback, you have the opportunity to choose happiness. Every time you feel discouraged, you have the opportunity to choose happiness. The choice is always yours. No one can make it for you. No one can prevent you from making it. No external circumstance can take away your power to choose happiness. This is your fundamental freedom, your basic right, your ultimate responsibility. I challenge you to make that choice today. I challenge you to decide right now that you're going to force yourself to be happy regardless of what's happening in your life. I challenge you to commit to the disciplines I've shared with you. I challenge you to begin the journey of creating your own happiness instead of waiting for happiness to find you. Remember, you don't have to be happy about everything that happens to you, but you can choose to be happy despite everything that happens to you. You don't have to love your circumstances, but you can choose to love your life. You don't have to enjoy every moment, but you can choose to find joy in the journey. The weight of life will come and go. The storms will rage and pass. The challenges will arise and be overcome. But your capacity for happiness, your ability to find joy, your power to create meaning and purpose in your life, these things can remain constant if you choose to develop them. The disciplines I've shared with you today are not just concepts to think about, they're practices to implement. They're not just ideas to agree with, they're habits to develop. They're not just theories to understand, they're tools to use. Start today. Start now. Start with one discipline, one practice, one small step toward forcing yourself to be happy even when life feels heavy. Your future self will thank you. Your family will benefit. Your community will be blessed. And the world will be a little brighter because you chose to be a source of light instead of darkness, hope instead of despair, joy instead of sorrow. The choice is yours. The power is within you. The time is now. Force yourself to be happy and watch as your life transforms in ways you never thought possible.